And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. Our great friend Dan Gaynor joining us now from the Media Research Center. Dan, good to have you with us.
It's good to be with you, especially since I almost messed up. I left my Do Not Disturb on, so fortunately rescued here.
Well, that never happens to us, so thank you.
Yes, I never make any errors, thankfully.
Well, and you know, the West Coast Gaynors wouldn't get a chance to hear you this morning.
Yeah, no, that would be bad, especially since we could talk about the crying wolf at the Grammys.
Indeed. Let's get to your review on the Grammys last night. I don't know if anybody in real America watched it, but your thoughts.
Well, it's my hope that people in real America didn't. Why put yourself through watching a program for the people who hate you? Look, we get paid to watch it here, so that's a little bit different. But even then, there are a few highlights for conservatives. I will give. I will say there are two. One, Joy Villa, who, if Donald Trump is the king of trolling, Joy Villa is the queen. She wore, if you remember last year, she wore the MAGA dress to the Grammys, and it created quite a stir. Well, I imagine she created even more of a stir because she wore a pro-life dress this time with a hand-painted fetus in sort of a heart, and then carrying a purse that says "Choose Life." Now, Hollywood, I mean, this is the hardcore of people who are fundraising for Planned Parenthood. This is probably a message that they have not seen. So, look, I don't know what Joy's real beliefs in politics are, but I think in this particular case, this is a personal story for her. I think she gave up a daughter for adoption when she was very young. And so anybody who's willing to put pro-life cause on the stage like she did yesterday, my hat's off to her.
Indeed. It's so funny. It's, have the Grammys turned into just one giant Trump derangement syndrome show?
Yes, they have. And in embarrassing ways. And this was probably the most left-wing of Grammy shows ever. And they sat down, they had the generic liberals reading Fire and Fury, the Michael Wolff book that we all know is entirely bogus. But nevertheless, people out there. So you had, James Corden puts, John Legend on there, and then he puts Cher and Snoop Dogg, and yes, Cardi B, who I actually sort of know who she is, but I've never seen her do anything before. But what's interesting is she says something, where she says, I don't believe this. And she's right. She shouldn't. And then, of course, last but not least in their little parade of mega lefties came Hillary Clinton. So we know what happens when you are a completely, multiply failed national political figure. You become just a joke. They put you on the Grammys to kind of read the book and mock the guy who beat you. One of the guys who beat you. The emblem of femininity and feminism here, who tosses around the B word, if you caught that earlier in the week, suddenly she can't beat a guy. She lost to Obama, she lost to Trump.
Indeed. It just makes you wonder, is there any entertainment value left in these shows? And don't these artists get it, Dan, that, really, by going so political, there's a giant tune-out factor?
Well, they don't care. I mean, you get the Eminem answer, where if you follow him and you like Trump, well, his answer is blank you. Well, I think the NFL is learning that answer doesn't work real well for it. Not only has the NFL lost fans and had empty seats even in pivotal games, but now the NFL is going to have competition. That the same goes for entertainers. That you look at Joy Villa's success, it's driven in large part, I would say, to the fact that she's taken a stand for Trump. And her song do real well on iTunes now because people buy them, I think is a political statement, just as liberals do.
Dan Gaynor joining us here. Dan, let's switch over from the Media Research Center. Let's take a look at just this whole Russian investigation. Now you have people smearing the House committee that wants the memo to be released. And sometimes we can get lost in the minutia here. But, I mean, it's strange that all of a sudden we're finally going to get to the core of this FISA court investigation of the president when he was running, real legitimate questions concerning the Department of Justice and the FBI, and yet now all of a sudden people that want the truth are being smeared by the mainstream media.
Yeah, this is bizarre to me because if you question what the FBI does, you're anti-American. And if you question what ICE does, you're a good guy. So you've got Bill Maher goes on his show on Friday and compares ICE to the Gestapo. He says Trump's not Hitler, but ICE is the Gestapo. Like, who the hell are you to say this? And then, if you're anti-American to question with the FBI investigation, you're undermining democracy. No, you're not. We've developed this bizarre thing that for all that the First Amendment stands for many things, the press has twisted the First Amendment to only stand for one thing. It's no longer free speech. It's no longer freedom of religion. It is only free press. And so if you criticize anything they don't like, you're not using your free speech. You're undermining America. But they can write absolutely anything they want, and they're good guys.
Exactly. And when do you think that Death Star, or do you think that Death Star ever will be destroyed, that mainstream media narrative?
Well, everything is changing. The power of the traditional press isn't as strong as it used to be. That's part of the reason for the full court press against Trump. If they can take down Trump, they will reestablish their strength. It's like watching, to some extent, it's like watching Russia try to regain its status as the old Soviet Union under Putin. That's why they invaded Georgia. That's why they conquered the Crimea. They're desperate to regain that status. Well, so for the traditional press, Donald Trump ran against them. They're desperate to be thought of as the power structure that they're frankly not anymore.
Well, and they seem to just, again, kind of like the Grammys last night, they get deeper and deeper in it. It's almost like that car that, is stuck in the mud, and the faster they go, the deeper they get into it.
Yeah, and there's nobody helping push it out. And so you end up with outlets like CNN that, have basically lost most shreds of respectability, professionalism, and dignity that they had. I spent many years, even at fairly lean times for me, where I continued to keep cable because I would pay what I used to tell friends was the CNN tax. And the reason for it is if something big happened in the world, Tiananmen Square, the fall of the Berlin Wall, I wanted to be able to turn on TV and be part of history. And so I was willing to pay for that. And I was glad I did. And now you look at what CNN has become, and it's just full-on anti-Trump propaganda. Essentially, the only reason CNN exists now is to attack Trump.
Well, it's a tough call between that and MSNBC, I would say. So how do you think the State of the Union is going to play out, Dan Gaynor?
Donald Trump could announce that he had cured cancer, discovered aliens, they're friendly, and they're going to boost our economy. And, oh, by the way, I solved the clean energy problem, and he would still get booed by the left. There's this hilarious Washington Post story out today talking about the potential for Trump to hit a reset button. Are they kidding? And then I saw liberals complaining about it. Oh, this will be the narrative. Trump's resetting. It's not the narrative. It's one of these bogus narratives that you talk about before an event and then you tear it down. It's a straw man. It's not a narrative. The media wouldn't let Donald Trump hit reset no matter what. They want to destroy the man because he ran against them, and their whole goal is to get revenge. Well,
and in the guise of being entertainers as well. I mean, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel or James Corbin or whoever else. It just
Jimmy Kimmel's an entertainer.
I agree with you on that, Dan. I totally agree with you. Finally, there's going to be the Resistance State of the Union as well in New York by a couple actors, Whoopi Goldberg and the like. Just how ridiculous are these people?
Oh, they're pretty ridiculous. That's Mark Ruffalo. What's funny is, as an actor, I like Ruffalo. Even as somebody to argue with on Twitter, I got into like an hour-long argument with him once on Twitter a few years ago. But I fear he's also sort of gone off the deep end since then. I will give him credit for being willing to engage somebody he was disagreeing with and not getting nasty. So that carries a lot of weight with me. There's so few people on the left that will do that now. But they're not the president of the United States. They're Hollywood actors. I don't care what they think. Most of us don't care. They are overpaid, pampered babies. The hell with them. The rest of us live in real America. We live in parts of America where we really worry about jobs. We worry about that tax cut that's given 80 to 90% of Americans more money in their pay. We worry about stuff like that. And we don't worry about whether he said something that offends the Hollywood elite.
Dan Gaynor, we always appreciate you. You're fired up and ready to roll today. You have a good one, brother.
You too. Thanks very much. Take care.
Bye-bye. Our friend Dan Gaynor here. And coming up, we'll take a look and a listen to last night's Grammy Awards. And it's unfortunate that we have people that use their platforms to really discourage folks from participating in the process. And the difference between Donald Trump and the folks that have been in there in the past, like George Bush and others, is they took it. Trump dishes it out. Which would you prefer? 580-5436. 580-KIDO. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And right now at KIDO Talk Radio, lots of polling going on. We've got, by the way, Tea Party Bob says he has a poll up now at the Gem State Patriot for the 1st Congressional District. We'll probably hear from him later. By the way, our exclusive Lieutenant Governor poll currently, and we'll announce the winner coming up today in the 8 o'clock hour, but Janice McGeehan out in front with 31%, followed by Bob Nonini, Marv Hagedorn, Kelly Packer, and Steve Yates coming in at the number 5 slot there. And if you'd like to vote, you can go to KIDOTalkRadio.com. Plus, we've got another poll up, well, why not, on whether or not you believe in the flu vaccine. We'll get to that result as well. Let's go to Jim in Middleton. It's been a while. Jim, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kevin. Just wanted to weigh in on your subject this morning. Actually, it's very, very refreshing to see a candidate, a politician, president, stand up to the media and push back. I much prefer that than what we've had from the Republicans in the past. But having said that, I think Trump at times gets a little petty and goes a little overboard. If he could hone that down a little bit, I think he would be much more effective.
Well, I think that's just part of his character, right?
Well, Kevin, I'm very opinionated and strong-minded. And when I see that I have a little more tact sometimes than Mr. President Trump, it makes me wonder at times. And again, I'm a fan. I've supported the guy financially before and after his presidency, and I think he's doing a very, very good job. But again, being honest, he goes a little overboard, and I think he turns some folks off. I overlook some of this stuff, but I do scratch my head at times and wonder why he's kind of getting in the gutter. He could be very effective and be tactful, and the guy in his position, I'm just a little surprised at times. But overall, his job approval rating with me is at about a 90%, so I'll give him that.
What do you think of the State of the Union coming up? What do you expect?
I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. And by the way, Angela and I will both be there. Looking forward to see you and the rest of the crowd. And the phone number that you guys are leaving, I've called several times, Kevin. It's not the right number.
Really?
Yes, please check that, would you? Call it and see And then I've been trying to call last week, and I get some lady's voicemail, some company or business, not Blockbusters.
Not Blockbuster, huh?
No.
I see.
Please check that out.
Well, hang on for 2 seconds here. Let me. I want to look at the number here at KIDO Talk Radio. We're like I said, I can't believe that that's the wrong number. Boy, that wouldn't be good. And it's just some lady's voicemail?
Yes. And I think you were 901 and
901-3806.
Yeah. I've called it several times, Kevin.
That's not good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, of course.
Well, I will get that taken care of, Jim. My apologies.
No problem. Anyway, I just wanted to weigh in on that, Kevin. And again, looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the crew.
Thank you, Jim. Take care.
You bet. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. All right. Good times. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We'll get that taken care of. KIDO Talk Radio, traffic and weather together. And Kevin Miller in the morning here as we continue on. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to David in Nampa. David, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. For years, there was a talk show host. He's not on here. Kind of wish he was on after you, but he would say, to think coherently, you have left the left. It is very hard for me to know sometimes, because liberalism is the intersection between uninformed and just not thinking right. But I have a question. Donald Trump, and this is one of those things where why you're turning off America, and even to liberals, could you understand why I say things like that? How many businesses did he lose? How many stores said, we don't want your products in our store? He put his businesses on the line. You know, what Schwarzenegger said, speaking of talk show hosts, another one said he had a glass jaw. You know, maybe people made fun of him, but they saw his movies. You know, then you run for office and half the country hates you. But don't worry, people will still love me until you do something, and then half them people hate you. So you've gone from everybody liking you to 75% of America wanting your head. So Donald Trump put his companies on the line. More than that, he put his brand on the line. And he colluded with the Russians to be president, which, according to this dumb book, he didn't even want to be. So he puts his companies on the line, he puts his brand on the line, and he colludes with the Russians to do something that he didn't even want. It was just a publicity stunt. Okay, really? You know, this reminds me of 20 years ago when the gays would say to the challenge we recruit, what's our pitch? You'll have no rights and everyone will hate you? Come join. Seriously, at some point you have to wonder about this. And I just ask, and the prostitutes, of course, they aid and abet this. You know, does anyone think, and I have to wonder, are you dumb or are you just so addled with hate? You know, this is 1984. This is Animal Farm, where things keep changing. It reminds me of the Soviet Union. The future is certain. You know, they'd have huge billboards, onward to communism. The future is certain. It's the past that keeps on changing. Sorry, I'm going on, aren't I?
Well, that's the way it is, you know. That's the magic of this program, going on and on and on.
Yeah, you know, this is not new. I mean, Henry VIII hated maid nobles and old nobles. He loved maid nobles. He hated the old ones because the old ones were around forever. He made nobles, and he could unmake them. The prostitutes hate Donald Trump because they can't unmake him, and that really galls them. I mean, who is that talking some nonsense about a reset? Yeah, they set it up, and then when he fails, but we're always set up to fail. Reagan, you know, what did he make, 23 million jobs? And how was, they said, well, it's trickle-down economics, which, by the way, is not a thing. Well, the way it works is the rich save money on taxes, take money out of their wall safes, which they do have because they keep their money in the wall, not in a bank where it can earn interest, And they take it down to the corner and they start handing out $100 bills. And when that doesn't happen, it's pronounced a failure. We're always defined into failures. You know, and who was it a couple of months ago? I hear it now and then. That so-and-so cured cancer. You Republicans wouldn't give him credit for it. Okay. Best unemployment in 20 years. Best women's unemployment in 20 years. Best black unemployment since it was measured, and that's like at the end of the moon program. Same for Hispanic programming. Stock market's roaring. Best housing starts in, 26 years. And do the prostitutes even tell you about this? I know it because I don't get my news from them. I get it from like Newsmax and this show and other things. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. Thank you, David. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning.
And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Our conversation about the Grammys continues. By the way, we are still wondering whether or not you would recommend getting a flu shot. That is available at KIDOTalkRadio.com. The flu, unfortunately, is just devastating the entire country, the entire nation right now. And we'll get your thoughts on that. An incredible show on Friday about that. But more importantly, let's get back to the Grammys, if anybody watched it last night. If not, we have the Miller Morning Montage here, and let's take a listen.
My father, if you're watching this, Dad, I love you. Look at me, Pop, look at me. I'm at the Grammys right now.
I'm Dave Chappelle. And I just wanted to remind the audience that the only thing more frightening than watching a black man be honest in America is being an honest black man in America.
I had to learn how to fight for myself. Time's up for discrimination. Time's up for harassment of any kind. And time's up for the abuse of power.
Stand by. Take one.
He had a long-time fear of being poisoned. One reason why he liked to eat at McDonald's. Nobody knew he was coming, and the food was safely pre-made.
That's it. We've got it. That's the one.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
The Grammys in the bag?
We always try to make great records as good as we can, and I guess this is a testament to that.
I love y'all with all my heart, and this is for the fans. Thank you, guys.
And there we have it. Just once I would love to watch an awards show without all the political stuff. And really, I expect the ratings of the Grammys to go down. We've got Hillary Clinton in there. Again, can't she just move on? You just wonder, can't she just move on? Like a lot of us do. We have had our wins. We've had our losses in life. And yet, what do? We move on. We accept the inevitable, except not if you're in the mainstream media. And unfortunately, that's what it seems the Grammys have become, a place to air the grievances and, make fun of the president. But this president, a little different. He doesn't have a problem fighting back. And, how many of us really watch them? Of course, Bruno Mars, fresh off his Super Bowl, had this to say.
My father, if you're watching this, Dad, I love you. Look at me, Pop, look at me. I'm at the Grammys right now. Thank you to the fans, to my band watching. You guys, man, I love y'all with all my heart, and this is for the fans. Thank you, guys.
And there we have it. That's the spirit of it. Bruno Mars appearing at the Super Bowl and now winning another Grammy.
All I wanted to do with this album was that. And those songs were written with nothing but joy, and for one reason and for one reason only, and that's love. And that's all I wanted to bring with this album, and hopefully I could feel that again and see everybody dancing and everybody moving.
Right. Of course, I don't know the last time I danced or moved.
It's just important that we raise a generation that knows that it's okay to speak up when you're done wrong. There's no reason for any secrets. That hopefully that will be our shame. Hopefully that's a time that's of the past and we never have to worry about that again.
And there we have it, a young lady from Little Big Town basically talking about the Me Too movement. A big investigation going on in Michigan State University, possibly where we have multiple allegations of sexual assault, sexual harassment that has been covered up by the university. Again, I want to say those are allegations, and people already calling for the firing of Tom Izzo, of Mark D'Antonio, the athletic director, and I believe the president have already been removed from office. They've already resigned. But does that mean that the coaches have to go? And remember, as I've said with this, is there a presumption of innocence that we're continuing to lose in the Me Too movement? Also, of course, the wall is an issue we'll talk about, and we'll hear about the CDC talking about the flu shot. But first, a State of the Union preview from Raj Shah, who had a chance to speak on Fox and Friends. He's the White House Deputy Press Secretary.
The president has offered a compromise solution with, showing real leadership that reaches across the aisle. We're going to see if Democrats are serious about border security. We're going to see if they actually want to fix the problem or if they just want to demagogue it. So the president is going to lay out a very serious set of proposals. He's going to lay out an agenda that America can get behind. He's going to talk about the successes that we've had in this first year and what we plan to do for the American people going forward.
And, of course, Tuesday night at Dave & Buster's. By the way, Jim, we did check. That is the young lady in charge. She is the special events person at Dave & Buster's. And that is the correct number, just FYI. So we hope to see you and Angela and everybody else at Dave & Buster's Tuesday night for our State of the Union watch party.
The president is going to have a great address tomorrow. He's going to speak to the entire country, not just those who voted for him. And he's going to talk about a stronger country, a safer country, and a prouder country. The United States is doing a lot better than it was just a year ago. We have a stock market that's booming. We've created over 2.5 million jobs since this president was elected.
And there we have it. There we have it again, alternating views of America. And by the way, we might as well start this segment here. By the way, our time is 6:42. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. A couple things going on. People are going after the House Republicans because they're very close to releasing the memo from the Justice Department that started the whole Russian investigation, that started this whole thing about the Russian spy, British double agent Christopher Steele, about whether or not the FBI was duped. And people are, saying, well, to question the FBI, as Dan Gaynor told us earlier, is just crazy. I don't believe that it's crazy. In fact, wasn't our entire constitutional republic founded on questioning government? That government would never be above the people. So I expect this memo to be released, and I hope that it is, simply for the basic facts that we now know that we've had this anti-Trump secret society within the FBI, right? How in the world can you be objective if you have a man allegedly having an affair with someone else and they're going back and forth dissing the candidate there that they're supposedly investigating? There is, that is biased, is it not? Think about that as we move along. And I want to share with you Jim Jordan last week, one of the members of the Freedom Caucus, had this to say to our own Steve Doocy at KIDO Talk Radio.
It's interesting, Steve. Before we got these text messages, we all suspected the fix was in on the Clinton investigation. Now that we've seen these text messages, we know the fix was in. Text messages like that, others where they said Lynch was no profile encouraged when she gave the decision to Comey to decide whether they were going to bring charges or not. Right. Lisa Page writes, that's no profile encouraged. She already knows charges aren't going to be brought even before they completed the investigation. So now we know the fix was in. And, of course, I think the logical thing is if the fix was in on the Clinton investigation and then these same people, top people at the FBI, started and ran the Trump-Russia investigation, might there be some bad things going on there as well? Sure. And as you look at these text messages, it sure looks like there is.
And we hope the Department of Justice will release those text messages or the House Judiciary Committee. Let's go to Liberal Steve with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberal Steve.
Buenos dias, Senor Miller. There you go, slamming the Grammys, an institution that was formed to create love and joy throughout the hearts and minds of all people. And wasn't it great that they put the suicide number up there for as long as they did and sang a song about it? It was just fabulous. In reading from the book, as far as a Grammy reader, I guess they do pick a Grammy reader, and the book they chose was just a book that's out there on the shelf.
Now, wait a minute. I thought you didn't have television.
I don't have cable or satellite or any of that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Why do people get cable or satellite? I mean, everything you see on cable or satellite, you can download on your iPhone. Every movie from Netflix, HBO, Showtime. Why waste your money on all that? And then you can Bluetooth it right to your screen. It's so stupid. It's like people that were hanging on to their landline for 20 years, using the excuse, well, what if there's an emergency and the kids want to call us? Well, the kids can call you on your cell phone. It's so, the future's moving faster than people can handle it. And then you're oh, my good friend Kevin Miller at KIDO 580 spouting about the Texas all week long and the FBI agents and stuff, and then having to eat his words and go to commercials and change the subject totally. And what's with drunk driving in Idaho? It's almost tripled last year in the number of deaths. And they keep putting parking lots in front of the bars. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord.
Somehow I think you're like auditioning.
Kevin, you're not funny this morning, Kevin, when you say stuff like that. You're not funny at all.
I don't think I'm funny anyway.
I do like your laugh, though. And I hear you're going to have a bunch of cronies again down at a bar with a parking lot on Tuesday night. Oh,
Dave and Buster's, we would love to see you there.
I'm going to come down and crash it. I'll give you my State of the Union announcement.
Well, the last time you did that, people were throwing food at you.
Well, that's because they're Republicans.
No, because you were insulting them, and you said Clinton is going to win and Trump's a loser, and then...
I didn't say Clinton was going to win.
Yes,
I said if you vote for Trump...
I believe you did.
No, I didn't. Play the soundtrack back, Kevin Miller. I said if you vote for a Trump, you're either an idiot or fool, and he'll be run out of office within a year.
Well, that didn't work.
Come on. I went out, got the book, read it. He didn't even want to be president. It was a joke to him. He just wanted to get more money in on his Trump stuff.
Well, some would say that our segments are jokes.
Oh, Kevin, this is not a joke. This is the presidency of the United States. We got a 70-year-old man in there that chasing porn stars around his bed in tighty whities. And don't tell me it's not true.
Because
in 2011 she said she had the affair, okay?
It's not true.
Yeah, you said that about a lot of things, and then it showed up true. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Whatever happened to the presumption of innocence?
Are you going to get a $1,000 bonus this year, Kevin?
Nope.
Well, what's with that?
We like to make sure that our shareholders get all the money. You ever come in here? We're home of fiscal conservatives.
Well, I'll tell you right now,
we work very hard, and we keep our products long after their due date. So there you have it.
Well, my stock's in the media, the 38-year-old that owns a lot of media across the United States and owns your station. The stocks have gone down.
I appreciate that right before the Dave Petzo report. Always good to hear from Liberal Steve. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Tragedy across the country, could it have been avoided?
Those that are at high risk that we recommend to get treated if they get sick with the flu are the very young, the very old, the pregnant women, and those with underlying illnesses like heart conditions and lung problems.
All right, back to our conversation last week. The flu continues to wipe out the entire nation. Of course, don't we hear this year in and year out? And it was funny, this morning on Fox and Friends, there was a doctor on, and he's yelling at Brian Kilmeade. Not yelling, he's cajoling him to get the flu shot, and Brian goes, nope, not me. And I would agree with that. I would agree with that statement. By the way, it's funny, our lieutenant governor's poll, we've had over almost 17,000 people vote. Currently, Janice McGeehan is in front of Bob Nonini and Marv Hagedorn, followed by Kelly Packer and Steve Yates. And so I thought, and it's funny, sometimes this online stuff transfers and sometimes it doesn't. But I thought for sure that would blow up over the weekend. So compared to the over 17,000 people that have voted in our lieutenant governor's poll, we've had 21 for the flu. 21 people have voted on our flu poll. I guess the person that came up with that was not very creative or engaging. That would be me. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be a part of your day. Truly honored to be with you. By the way, enjoyed everybody at the Canyon County Kids Expo. And it was the largest, most successful ever. It was a great time. Thank you, everybody that showed up. Do want to remind you, we will love to see you at Dave & Buster's. And Ray and I, you're going to love this. There's somebody that actually is going to be there with, like, drums and I don't know if it's a bugle, but we just got an email from Dave & Buster's that somebody wants to be up front and, like, have a drum roll when people came in. So Brian from Dave & Buster's says it's cool, so we will we'll have a drummer there tomorrow. We would love to see you there. And we kick off our great friend Lars Larson. He will be joining us every Monday at 8 o'clock. We will have him on today as well. So we're looking forward to talking to Big Lars. Remember, you can catch him after Sean Hannity here at KIDO Talk Radio. Joe in Boise, good morning. You're on with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Hey, Joe.
Good morning, Jeff. Kevin. Sorry, Joe.
Joe, Kevin, Timmy, whatever.
Yeah. The flu shot. It's strange. I think it's dependent on just your body itself, because I've gotten it, every few years. I've felt like I should get it, and either way, it's never made a difference. I haven't gotten the flu in years. That might be because the military, pumps you full of everything they can possibly, but, I haven't gotten sick either way. So I don't know. I think it's just dependent on your genes and whether you're a strong immune system or not.
There's nothing like being in the military and you're in that room and they have the shotgun or whatever and they come by and just.
Yep. Every single shot known to man, they pump you full of it, and it seemed to work, but. With the Dave & Buster's thing, I think when liberal Steve walks in there with the drums, I think you should do the whole wah, 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 wah. I think that would be great.
Well, I'll take that into account. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
All right. Really appreciate Joe. By the way, Ray and I had a chance to meet Peyton. You remember Peyton, the young conservative? He stopped by. I wanted to thank Joe for his service and Peyton and all others who have served and continue to serve our great nation. KIDO Talk Radio time is 6:56. Let's get it. And I'm Kevin Miller in the morning here. It was funny. I had a chance to, again, be at the Canyon County Kids Expo, and I was sitting there talking to Cindy. And Cindy has told me that she's going to be listening a lot. And I said, well, okay, Cindy, and we'll see about that. But I'm sitting there talking to Cindy, and, this lady comes up, and we're so overwhelmed that, we're doing the lost kids thing. So you don't want to lose your kid. You get a wristband for your child and stuff. And, we've got the free candy, and the kids are gouging the candy, which is going to be tough for the parents. And, there's a lady there that said, hey, is there somebody else that can do this? I go, nope. And then she got a little angry with me. And then another lady, said, well, what's your name? What is this? I'm going, obviously she's a listener. But, in light of that, and, again, they were very upset because they had to wait in line like 5 minutes to get their kids registered, which they didn't. Perhaps I should have been a little bit more patient. But it's crazy how patience, at least with me, and maybe with some people that never you, but some people we just seem to have lost it. Whether it's trying to open up a can or something. And Larry David did a great skit on this where he's in his shower and he can't get his liquid soap or his shampoo open, and he just goes like from instant calm to instant scream back to instant calm, as if we've all just become controllable emotional babies. And I guess the point is, whether we're in public or somewhere else, just the need to relax and empathy, I would suppose. It's just crazy. But again, a great time. The Paw Patrol was awesome. Photos at KIDOTalkradio.com. Fox News is next. Good morning, everyone.